welcome to another hashtag Because You Matter pod, where you, the viewers, always have a seat at the table. Tonight, we're kicking it off with a powerful conversation that is catered to the mothers who lost. Whether you lost a mother or you lost a child, this is a conversation for you. So we're going to dig into this grief talk right now, tonight. But before we dive into all the good conversation we have going, I just want to take some time to say to please like and share this video with any and everybody. Share it to your timeline. Share it to a friend who may have lost their mother or their child. Put them in the chat because this is the conversation for them. And like I've been saying all month, we want to build a community of mothers. All types of mothers. We want to make sure we have you guys covered. So please come to the chat if you have anything to say, anything speaks to you. I have 2 devices tonight, so I make sure I don't miss anybody. So come in the chat and come talk to us and talk with us through this grief talk that we're going to do. We also want to honor our lovely leaders, Apostle and Pastor C. Parker and our assistant, Pastor J. Donner. Thank you guys for all that you do for us. Thank you for the labor of love, the prayers, and thank you for allowing us to have this platform to have these real conversations. And I'm so excited to welcome my guest. Tonight we have Evangelist Stacy K with us. Woo! And we have Sister Brittany with us tonight. So we're going to just dig into this. I'm ready. Are y'all ready? If y'all ready, type in ready in the chat so I can know. All right, let's get started. So take a look outside. The season is shifting. The spring is officially here. We see the flowers blooming and the grass turning green, but we often forget the work that happens beneath the surface that makes this beauty possible. Spring is not just about the flowers blooming and the grass growing and, you know, even that rusty little smell, because I've been smelling a lot of cow manure lately, but that's because it's trying to fertilize the ground. So we need that little stench. But all these things are happening around us. We forget about the resilience of it all. Those quiet times, like in the wintertime, how everything was covered, it was cold, it was brutal, but these things were still going on underneath the surface. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I can't think of a better picture for motherhood than that. Mm-hmm. As a mother, specifically a mother who has lost a mother or a child, it was just reminding me of that winter season. Mm-hmm. Like being covered up, having nowhere to go or feel like there's no one that can help you like lift this burden off of you. And it just felt very dark and cold. I kind of want to dig into that. But this is a disclaimer. We're not trying to make anybody upset. We don't want you to be crying. If you need to take time, pause this, come back to it, take care of yourself. But we also want to build a little framework of how we overcome grief and how we still are going through grief, because I feel like grief doesn't go anywhere. It's just how do we shape it in our lives. So I can't wait. Let's get right into this. So I seen a quote by this lady. Her name is Jamie Anderson, which she's a writer and a blogger. It says, "Grief, I realize, is just love. It's all the love you want to give but can't. All the unspent love gathers up in the corners of your eyes, the lump in your heart, and the hollow part of your chest. Grief is just love with no place to go." And I was like, to me, it was like a perfect way to explain grief. And it gives it, because I feel like a lot of times people are scared of the word. Like they're scared to feel. But I feel like this like specific one and why I chose it is because it gives it kind of gives it a feeling that people don't know how to describe. So how does this quote shift you guys thinking about grief? And also, how did this quote help shift your thinking about grief also in the comment section?
Go ahead. So, I mean, personally, when I think about grief, I think about those 5 stages to grief. You know, the denial, the acceptance, the anger, you know. So it's just, for me, I feel like when that part where it says, where is it? Where it's that lump in your throat.
Yeah.
It literally is. And it has it's love that has no place to go.
Yeah.
And that's probably where that anger, you know, comes in from, because it's like, Dad, you know, I can't love on this person anymore right now. I can't tell them that I love them right now. Mm-hmm. So it's like that love don't have anywhere to go because that person is gone. Mm-hmm. So that's my take on that quote.
I think about grief a lot because when grief first takes its stage, for me, it wasn't present at the beginning.
Yeah.
My grief came later on. You have those emotional breakdowns, but the grief that sets in, that lump in your throat, that I can't address that person anymore. It came later for me.
Yeah.
All of that is summed up in one.
Yeah.
She made it all come together in one. I don't think people talk about grief because, like you said, they're scared of grief.
Yeah, absolutely.
They don't speak about why they're grieving because they either feel like people don't want to hear it or they don't have nowhere to go with it.
Yeah.
I even had trouble talking about it in therapy.
Yeah.
Because it shifts your mood.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
It shifts your mood so much because grief plays word games with you.
Yes, it's
the
sure
moment
too.
The moment you say something, your whole atmosphere shifts because the grief sets in. But it has to set in.
Yeah.
You can't. If you don't let it set in, you'll never be able to live in it.
Yeah, and it's that while you was talking about how it, like this quote meant to you, what I kept hearing is like the acceptance. It's important that we do have to accept it, and a lot of people aren't willing to accept the fact that now they're missing someone. And the more and more you don't accept it, that's how I feel like you won't be in that grief process. You won't be present in the process. It's like a cat chasing its tail.
Yes.
It's going to keep constantly trying to chase you around and around until you literally look it in the face and like, okay, like I'm ready to face it.
Absolutely.
I
But
just
how-
feel like a lot of people stay in that denial era or the angry era for so long. Those are the two stages of grief that people just they stay and they live there, you know, forever. Sometimes until the day they die.
Yeah.
You know, so it's hard.
Yeah.
And that's a hard stage to get past.
Yeah.
The anger part is a hard stage to get past because people don't understand the anger. They
Yeah.
don't understand the anger. Why you so angry? Because I lost something so important to me. You know, that's like a kid, you take their toy, that toy that they wanted, and you take it away from them, they're going to be upset.
Absolutely.
They're going to be so upset for a long time until they get that toy back. But
But
in death, you don't get that back.
right.
Because I got 3 kids.
Yeah.
All that love is different.
Yeah.
I love them as a mother the same, but I love them differently.
Absolutely.
So, and we had a different relationship between the 3 of us. And a mother to a son is different.
It is. It's
a different relationship.
Yeah.
And it tore at me a little bit.
Yeah.
More than if, you know, because I dealt with death when my grandparents died and my dad died. I dealt with that, but that was different.
Yeah.
That was different. And I wasn't angry at first. Anger came way down
After the fact.
10 years later.
Yeah. And like you said, these different stages of grief, sometimes they come subtle, sometimes they come full force. Like to me, I felt like I've never experienced anger, but as I'm sitting here, I did experience anger at a point because I blamed myself because of the way, you know, my son passed away. He's passed away in his sleep. SIDS. Nothing I could have done to prevent it because I took all the precautions, but I still said, what did you do? You had one job to raise a child and he's no longer here. I failed. And that's what I was putting on to myself. So it's crazy how the different the stages, it sneaks up on you. Because like you said, 10 years later, it's anger. And it's like, one advice that somebody told me that I took and I still take it to this day is grief is not a linear line. It is a roller coaster.
Yes.
One day you'll be completely fine. The next day you flipped upside down around. You going in
on
all different kind of ways.
Crying.
And you wondering where it comes from. Like for me, to be honest, this Mother's Day was not it for me. And the crazy part is normally I can tell when, okay, like I need to do stuff for myself. I need to take time. But I was fine. I was like, okay, this year gonna be good. Until I woke up that morning, I was like, no, I don't know what. So it's just like, how do you take care of yourselves when you're going through those motions of losing? Like when it's holidays or like different things, like how do you take care of yourself in those times when you feel that way?
I feel like sometimes I don't, or I'll reach out to someone. Like this past time, I had reached out to Pastor Reva. You know, she is my daughter's nanny, and I told her, I said, I want to trash everything in this house because I was very upset. Like it just hit me out of nowhere. I was angry, and she said, Brittany, you know, you have to think about it. You know, your daughter is there. You know, and you just. That's something you just can't do. You know, I was so close, like I was just ready to trash my TV, kick the wall, punch it. But sometimes you need that person, someone, you know, that you can reach out to, you know, bring you back, you know, level-headed somehow. You're still going to feel it, but it just, somebody can put you at ease. So for me, I just had to reach out to the first person that came to my mind, and it was her.
Yeah. Most of the times I dealt with it alone. Or I wrote things down, you know, little notes here and there. This year was a time where I didn't know how to really cope. I was going to therapy, you know, I'm regular at, you know, ministry, and I'm doing all of the works of things. And I was falling apart little bit by little bit by little bit. And I remember me and my daughter just having a simple conversation in my room, and I heard God say, tell her. And I said to her, I'm not okay.
Yeah.
I had to say to her, I'm not okay. I'm falling apart. I'm not okay. Just like you, I thought Mother's Day was gonna be fine for me.
Yeah.
I got wonderful gifts. You know, you buy things to make yourself feel better. You go out of your rim of, you know, because I usually wear black. I had on yellow, but
which was beautiful, by the way.
Thank you.
I didn't even get a chance to tell you that.
When you get home, it settles in.
Yeah.
You know, my daughter had gave me she redid Kevin's obituaries, but it wasn't getting the obituaries. It was living in that moment.
Yes. Yeah.
And Mother's Day, Father's Day, Christmas, New Year. People are like, why do all of those days affect you? One, I'm a mother.
Yeah.
Two, he was a father.
Right.
New Year, I'm bringing another year in without you being there.
Yeah.
You know, Christmas was that's when we always was together. No matter what, we were always together. We was always a unit.
Yeah.
And those things are now gone.
Yeah.
And I thought about suicide. I thought about, and people like, oh, what you say? Listen.
No, don't feel it.
Don't do that.
Too real.
Don't do that.
Yeah. We're still human.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted to quit everything and just sit in it. Like sit in it. Not knowing whether you want to die, not knowing whether you want to cry, or you want to trash something, or you want to go somewhere and just tell somebody off. Like I'm watching people online, and I'm seeing people that I saw in the courtroom. Now I want to lash out.
Yeah.
I know I can't lash out.
Yeah.
But I wanted to.
Yeah.
And
it's
something.
I'm sure. It's something that you said that you weren't okay. And there's something about when you say that and you allow people in, it's something freeing about that, because it's like you're no longer holding it in, like you're helping someone you're allowing someone to help you carry that load. And that has been a struggle point for me, because I've always been the one that's like, okay, I shouldn't feel this way. Like for me, it's been almost 8 years now at this point, so I'm like, I should be over it. Like, you know, it's like, you know, those things, like, this is what I tell myself, like, Ty, you should be over it. Like, there's other things that we need to worry about, and it's just, it used to, like, almost, like, torment me. Like, I would want to be by myself, like, for Christmas, especially because that was the last really holiday that we really had. I remember 1 year, like 2 years ago, actually, I locked myself in my house. I said, no, nobody come over, don't do nothing. And I just wanted to sit, like you said, be in that moment, like just sit there and just like nobody that. But obviously, because I was living across the street from Christian Nature, they didn't allow that. Thank you though. Thank you for y'all, because it takes a village and it takes people to bring you out of that, because you have to be careful. If you sit in that, that's where the depression comes. Yep. That's where the anxiety comes. All these things come, and then it's like now you dug yourself in a deeper hole when you could have just said, hey, I'm not okay, because I was like, well, I don't want to ruin nobody's holiday. I don't want to, put like a pose on. It's not a woe is me all the time, but like it is something freeing about saying that I'm not okay.
And my daughter said instantly to me, she says, I felt the heaviness.
Yeah.
I didn't know where it was coming, but I felt the heaviness.
Yeah.
And I could not stop crying. And I mean, bawling my eyes out. But I also recognized that in the 10 years that all of this was going on, I barely ever cried. Yeah. Like I cry in moments, but for my soul to be wrung out, it just never happened. Because you're busy, like you said, you're taking care of everybody else. It's all about everybody else. You feeling guilty because you're like, this should be over by now. No. It don't happen that way
at all.
Absolutely. So the world often forgets that you don't stop being a mother. Now that we're talking about this, just because your child is gone or just because you lost a mom, how do you give yourself permission to still look at yourself as a mom? And where do you direct that fierce, protective energy? So, like, how, because I know you guys still have other children, like you talked about it before. So how are you able to still keep going for your children that are still here through the grieving process?
Well, for me, at the time, I didn't have other children.
Oh, okay.
When I lost my first, that was it for me. I was just like, where do I go? What do I do? Because God, why did you take my child away from me? I couldn't understand it, and it was really, really tough, because I'm like, finally, because it's something I've always wanted to be, a wife and a mother. So when I finally, got pregnant and everything, and then months later, losing my child, I was like, wait, what's going on? Like, am I ever going to be able to have another kid? It was so many things going in my mind at that time. And then, like you say, me, the village, I didn't have that. The village that was around me, I'm surprised that I'm still sitting here sane and alive, because I was in that depressive state. I didn't eat, I didn't sleep, because I didn't understand. I didn't understand why. I could not. I couldn't. And the way everything went, it was a lot, and I don't want to break down right now. So I just, it was a lot.
I think that, I think about if I completely fall apart, it's not fair to them.
Yeah.
It ain't fair to my daughters. It ain't fair to my grandchildren. Because for the most part, me and my daughters have rode this wave together.
Yeah.
But if I just give up, what does that tell them? What does it tell my grandchildren?
Yeah.
And I was just like, I can't give up. I want to sometimes, but I can't give up, because I gotta look them in their face. I gotta look my grandkids in the face. So I don't give up. And, not for nothing, God brought me this far.
Yes, yeah.
Why would I give up?
Yeah.
And when I was thinking about talking about this today, I was just laying there, and God brought to my thoughts when Jesus got crucified and the other Mary. They never said what Mary she was. There was no description of the other. It just said the other Mary. And it brought me to us in the natural world who loses kids that are not on the news. You don't have the support of the society. It's just, you're here. But God showed me, just like that Mary, he chose that Mary to be there when he came out that tomb. Just like he chose us to go through this for a reason. We are enlightened other people that regardless of what we go through,
Yeah.
no matter the death that we have experienced, there is life after death.
That part. And I feel like a lot of people miss that.
Yeah.
They go right to the Jesus is alive, yay!
Yeah.
But never go to the death of it all.
Yeah.
And when I lost my son, I was at that moment of, I was like, okay, God, whatever you need, because at that point, like, I literally was in the hospital, like, okay, I don't know how to describe it better than my mind was slipping. I was going a little crazy. I'm not gonna lie. I was sitting there like I couldn't concentrate, couldn't think. Like, I was just on my knees praying because I knew at that point that I wasn't even fighting for him anymore. I was fighting for myself to be seen.
Absolutely.
And after that, it was just like, I every day I was on my face, and that's what kept coming. Gethsemane. Like, I was in that season of Gethsemane, and I was just like it's bad enough that I lost my son, and it's like I'm grieving that, but it's also now God is taking everything out of me. Yeah. That ain't right. Yeah. And it's like I have so many different things going on at once. Physical pain, because I was also breastfeeding, so it was very physical pain that I had to endure. Then the emotional pain, and then the spiritual pain. I was like, I'm about to die out here. Like, this is too much at one time. But like you said, it has to come forth because of that resurrection.
Yes. Yes.
And a lot of people allow
Mother Mary. Nobody knew who she was.
Yeah.
But she was appointed for that time.
Absolutely.
She was appointed for that time. She was appointed to enlighten other people that man don't choose you, God chooses you.
Yeah, absolutely.
This was a choice. Listen, God didn't do this to harm us. He did this for us to grow.
Yes. Yeah.
And if you sit in it and don't grow from it, you're missing the opportunity.
Yeah.
You're missing the opportunity that God has given us.
Absolutely.
God has given me an opportunity to say, I experienced death in its worst way.
Yeah.
Because people don't know that before they got to the funeral home, they had to reconstruct my son's face so that I could even look at him before we went to the funeral.
Yeah.
Then to be in trial and see his foot tag, to see his body, his friend's body on the ground, or to see the stains in the car.
Yeah.
To see these things, you know, for another human being to have to turn around and look at you and say, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
And I sat there.
Yeah.
The whole time. And I just shook my head and told her, yes, I'm okay. And it's dramatic. They turn the lights off. And it's
really?
just like,
Oh, God.
Because it's on the TV screen.
Oh, God, okay.
So they turn the lights off so everybody can see.
Yeah.
They keep it up there, not to harm you,
yeah,
but for the jury to see.
Evidence, yeah.
This is where my anger stepped in.
Yeah.
This is where my grief stepped in.
Yeah.
Because now I got to face this.
Yeah.
Now I went through 2 trials.
Mm-hmm.
The first trial I didn't go through all of this. The second trial I did go through this.
Yeah.
And when I hear people say, "Oh, you know, it's just time for you to get over it. It's time for you to pray." It's that, and all of that as well.
Yeah.
Because I believe in prayer. Because prayer changes things.
Yes, it does.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
But sometimes you just want somebody to hear you.
Yeah.
And my heart was screaming,
Yeah.
listen to me, listen to me, listen to me. Because I was breaking in so many pieces.
Yeah.
But when you're breaking in pieces, you don't want to break who's in front of you.
Yeah.
I didn't want to break my daughters.
Yeah.
I didn't want to break my grandsons. I didn't want to break my kid's father.
Yeah.
But I was breaking inside. But I needed somebody to listen to me. Pray for me, but listen to me.
Right.
And a lot of times they forget you're a mother. That's somebody that was attached to your body.
Yeah. Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally, they was attached
Yes.
to your body.
No, literally.
And the crazy part is, there was like scientifically proven, now that you brought that up, I've just thought about it, that whenever you give birth to a child, their parts of their DNA are still remaining in you.
Yes. Absolutely.
So it's like, it literally, like
Absolutely.
you said, it's something that's a part of us.
Absolutely.
Still to this day, still a part
Absolutely.
of us. No matter what happened, like whether it was, you know, the different ways that we're here, like through miscarriage or stillbirth, anything, those, they're still in you.
Yes.
So it's more than just.
And you carry it.
Yeah, and it's more than just like, you jumping a hurdle. Like it takes.
It ain't a hurdle.
It takes.
I've been failed. I don't even want to.
They too tall. I don't even want to try that. But it is definitely it's definitely a part of you. It's still to this day. And like a viewer said on here, it says grief has no time frame to get over it, like you just said. Sometimes things will trigger you. And that's the next point that I wanted to go into. I feel like it's very important, especially in your grief journey, no matter where you are, to know your triggers, identify them, and then figure out a game plan. How can I let this not be a trigger anymore? Like, for me, I'll go first. An example, one of my triggers, I could not hear a baby cry. I couldn't do it. Like, it did something. I can't even explain what it did. It did something to me, and it just felt like something just took out my guts. Like, just. So one way that I did, I don't know if this is really healthy, but one thing that I did, like, I used to, like, trigger, like, cries would trigger me, and also babies itself. And I didn't like when people said, "Oh, my baby look like a baby doll," or this, that, and the third. I ain't played no game. Don't call your baby a baby doll, because I know what it looks like to have, like, an actual baby, like, you know what I'm saying? Because my son, that's what he looked like when he, was in his casket. He looked like a little baby doll. And I was like, no, don't do that. So what I did was I tried to implement myself to babies again. It was very hard. Like, I had to force myself. I remember my friend, and around the time Naija also had Sinai. So two people, it was like, and I feel like God was just playing a joke on me, because I'm like, okay, my son passed away. Why everybody around me having babies? Like, I just can't do this. But I didn't allow it to take me, because I could have just said, nah, like, I don't want to be a part of none of y'all kids' lives. But I did it, and I had that conversation, like, and they understood, they knew, and they always asked, like, Ty, is this too much? Like, is this okay? Like, and I'm like, at times I had to say, yeah, this is a little too much. I might have to step back. But sometimes I challenged myself, and I was just like, okay, let me do it. And eventually I was able to be around it. But it was times where it was tough, because in my mind, how I lost DJ in his sleep. So any baby that's still sleeping, like, sleep around me or sleep too long or look a little weird, up to this day, I'm still like, hey, you with us? Like, tickle, tickle. Like, you know what I'm saying? Do these things. And I actually had a scare. I don't even know if you should do this, but I had a scare with Sinai. She left me in the car with her. She was little. And I don't know, something like you said, it was just a trigger. I'm like, oh my God, it don't look like she's breathing. So I took her out. I jumped in the back seat and took her out. And I'm like, Sinai, are you okay? And then she woke up, she smiled at me. And I was like, okay. I was a little embarrassed. So I don't even think I told Naija this story. She gonna find out. But, like, these things, it just. Right. So how do you guys, like, identify your triggers and deal with triggers?
At the time, my trigger was pregnant women. I did not want to go to the store. I didn't want, and it seemed like I've seen every pregnant woman in the world. I'm like, why is all these women pregnant? Like, what's going on? So, and it was crazy, because at that time when I was in to go see my OB, so they can tell me, like, what was going on with my baby. My cousin had an appointment at the same time. Now, she was a little further along than I was at that time. So I'm just trying to mask it and cover up. And she was like, oh, you here for your appointment too? And I'm like, yeah, But she knew. She told me, like, later on. She was like, I knew something was up. But then after, they gave me the news and everything, I hated her. Like, she was the one that I hated the most. But then somehow we ended up at my grandma's house at the same time one day. Later down the line, I was like, and I ended up just walking over to her, and I, gave her a hug, and I was rubbing on her stomach and everything, because I'm like, I've got to let this type of anger, it's not healthy. I can't be upset that, these women, are pregnant and everything, and I end up losing mine before it got to that point, so it's just learning how to deal with your trigger in a positive way. So instead of choking her to death, I rubbed her stomach. So that was my trigger and how I dealt with it.
Ooh, triggers. I really don't know. Some of my triggers. Seeing other people with their sons, walking them down being a father, to their kids. I remember, without saying anything, I remember that daughter-father dance was going on, and my son couldn't. Of course, he couldn't go. It triggered me, and it triggered me in 2 ways. It triggered me. I was sad and I was angry. I see people dance. It makes me go up in a frenzy. Like, if you'd have just kept dancing, I think that in the way he died, and he was so much older. A lot of things trigger me. A lot of things trigger me. Just knowing that I won't get to see him at 40. I won't get to see him at, 30. When I got ordained, him not being here. Those things, these are the kind of things that trigger me. Seeing his son triggers me. Seeing his daughter triggers me. Those things trigger me, and they probably will always trigger me. Because at one time, and nobody knew this, and me and his father are in great standing. One of my best friends. But talking to him on the phone triggered me. Knowing that he still had his 2 boys. Because he got 2 other boys. Knowing that he had 2 other boys and mine is gone. It triggered. It triggered me.
I understand that. Because, not to cut you off, but when you said that, that's happened to me. Because it's a whole lot of timeline things, but when my son passed away, went through a lot with his dad or whatever, and we was in a point where I thought I could handle it, but like you said, it was very triggering. And then I also found out that he also had another child, and of course it was a boy. So I was like, oh, how my boy, like, and then and you. So I was to the point where I was just like, I had broke it down to him. I said, listen, that is not my son's brother. Don't speak of my son to that boy. Like I was at that point. I was like. And I was here too.
And I never,
but the Lord touched his mind. But
I never voiced it the way you did, because I love his other kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't so much trigger me. It was the fact that he still gets the chance to love on his boys. He gets the chance. And, their mothers get to love on their boys, and mine's is gone. And he was the oldest. So he was the oldest boy. So, when I say I used to get, and not that he would say anything, it was just a thought. Right? It was a thought. Like, and they don't realize thoughts trigger you. The very thoughts trigger you. Like, I'd be like, I'm mad. I'm really mad. Or I get sad. So I've been writing a book, and I have to literally stop, because I either get angry or I get so emotional that I can't carry on.
Right. A viewer popped in the chat and said, grief can make people feel like they're falling apart or doing something wrong. It's good to remind them that everything they feel is real and allowed. Doesn't matter what anyone says, just keep God in it. And that's the key part, because honestly, if I did not turn to God, when I did with this grief, I always tell people, because I was like, oh, I don't know how you made it. It was like, oh, you're so strong. You're so. I said, listen. I said, this is not my strength. This is the Lord's. Because guess what? I would have been in 2 places. I would have been in that grave, because I would have definitely took myself out. My family knew it. I told them almost every day, I'm out of here. Or I would have been in a crazy house. Because when I tell you,
I'd have been in jail.
My sanity, like, it's a crazy feeling to feel your sanity. You fighting for your sanity and it's slipping. I've never felt nothing like that in my life. So I feel like you have to keep God in the middle of grief. God and grief goes together.
They go together. If, like you said, I would have either been I'd have went to jail, then to the nut house. Because the story made warrant for me to get revenge.
Yeah.
I remember right after the services, his services was on Saturday, so Sunday was coming. He died on a Sunday.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. My first thought, if everybody wasn't in and out my door, I wanted to go to church.
Yeah.
I knew what was going to sustain me.
Yeah.
Then I remember Apostle calling me and he says, just come to church. You don't gotta, because I was ushering. I'm still ushering. I was ushering. And he said, you don't gotta usher, I just want you to come.
Yeah.
And I didn't object to that. I'm coming. I'm
Yeah.
gonna be there. I was there the next day.
Yeah.
Because I knew that if I did not stay in God's face in some shape, some form, that things was not going to turn out good.
Absolutely.
For me and for others.
Yeah.
So, but like you said, God kept me.
Yes.
He kept me through the trials.
Yes.
He kept me through the loneliness. He kept me through the heartache.
Yeah.
You know, my heart breaks over and over. March the 8th come, my heart breaks all over again.
Yeah.
Every time the news article comes up, it breaks. And people don't even realize that on March the 8th, the young man that killed him, a video pops up of him and Kevin together.
Oh.
And Kevin's defending him in a fight.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to feel.
Yeah.
But I'm angry and I'm upset.
Yeah.
But let me tell you how God works though.
Yeah.
When I was in trial, the same young man walked past me and I began to cry for him.
Yeah.
I began to grieve for him because you're the same age as my son and now you're going to lose a part of your life.
Yeah.
A big part of your life. And I cry, I weep for him.
Yeah.
And I ask God, now what is that about?
Yeah.
Because I'm not supposed to be crying for the boy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's what God does.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like you was talking about, it's those silent battles, those thoughts, because something that I always have to be like, I don't know where that came from, but Lord, take it, is that without me even realize I'm doing it, I can tell you everything that we've done. Like, when his birthday come around, I'm like, okay, this is his birthday, and then this is what we were doing there, and then when February comes around, this is when he passed away, and then I'm like, and then I get into the all of the what ifs that he wasn't able to experience. So Easter, I'm like, well, I never got to dress him up, or like, all these thoughts come, and I'm like, Lord, I'm not trying to go there, like, no, we're not doing this, and it's like, people just think these things just go away, but it comes to trigger you to see if it can still affect you in that way.
Yep. Tear at your heart and tear at your mind.
Yeah.
Will you go backwards or will you stay in front of it?
Yeah.
That's what it does.
Yeah.
Those thoughts come.
Absolutely.
Are you going to stay on course or are you going to let? And let me say this: just because I'm quiet don't mean I'm off course.
Yeah.
I get quiet and I don't isolate myself from not being around people. But I isolate myself from speaking because I don't want my grief to speak.
Right. Yeah.
Especially in God's house.
Yeah.
I don't want my grief to speak.
Absolutely.
I want who I am to speak.
Yes.
What God has done for me to speak. And people don't understand that because they think, oh, she giving up on God. It's not me giving up on God. I have to measure this at the right point in my life.
Yeah.
I have to do what God told me to do.
Yes. Yeah.
That's it.
That's it, and that's all, honestly. And then another person said, photographs, handwriting, belongings, and even someone who may look like them can possibly trigger the feeling of grief. And honestly, speaking of that last part, this is funny because this is, like you said, it's an ongoing thing. And I always think to the future, not that I'm rushing anything because I'm not. Like, I know that I am going to have a baby again. I had a dream, all that kind of stuff. So I already know, but one of the things that I'm afraid of is, what if my child looks like my son? Would I be able to handle that? And that's something that keeps constantly running in my mind because it's like, of course I love this child, but I don't want grief to take me away from it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I try not to go too far into it because then it'd be a spiral, and then and it's like, girl, it's not even nothing that you need to worry about right now. Like, just calm down. But speak, like, when somebody said that, it definitely hits home.
I could see a hat.
Yeah.
Or I could see a shirt. Or I got his jacket. You know, those things remind me, you know what I'm saying? Or I see a group of his friends. And I'm like, he missing from the group.
Mm-hmm.
And also, you think about the people that betrayed you.
Yeah.
And these things make you remember everything that,
yes.
Like she said, like I think about, oh, what if he was here for Christmas?
Yeah.
Like Kevin had this thing in the summertime. He would come down the street, no shirt on, he's skinny as ever.
Yeah.
Talk about he had a 6-pack. You don't have a 6-pack. But those were the things that we look forward to because we know he was coming. We know he was coming. Or at night, you know, I think about it like, what if he, you know, if he was here, he'd be coming up my steps at 12, 3, 1 o'clock at night. You know what I'm saying?
Literally.
Smelling like he don't got the smell I don't want to smell. But
I can't.
That, you know, that's what he did. You know what I'm saying? But those things, even when people smoke, it triggers because that's what he did.
Right.
You know, and it's just in the laughter. Like there's a video pop up where he smacked Kiki with some flour, and I watched that video over and over and over again. And you'll be surprised what it does. 1 minute you laughing, right, and I watch it again, and the next thing I'm crying, because I missed that laughter. And then sometimes it just makes me laugh, right? Because I needed to smile about it, but sometimes it makes me cry.
And it's so crazy that you both talk about like someone looking like them or whatever. In my mind, for me, it was different. I never got to see my child, so for me, I'm like, what would my child have looked like? What would their laugh would have sounded like? You know, the way they ate, would they like this? Would they do this? So I was left with all these questions. You know, so it kind of tore me up because I'm like, dang, I would never know. I would never know what you look like. I would never know what you felt like. I would never know. You know, and it was just like frustrating when people used to say, well, you know, you only had a miscarriage. What do you mean I only lost my child? I don't care. People feel like you should, if you didn't carry it all the way and then lost your child, it's not as hurtful as it is as carrying it only for a few months.
No, I told that to a mother who has repeated
and don't
miscarriages.
And not even that, like, you know when something is different about your body. And you know when something is missing. So having a miscarriage, you know what it felt like to carry a child. No matter how small, because you could feel it. It's a difference. You could feel a difference, and then
your
once
body, the whole body
not
different.
there, and then when it's gone, it's like now you feel like there's a missing part.
But I do thank God that He allowed me to at least see the very first ultrasound. You know, where we went to go look at the heartbeat and everything. So I did get to see somewhat of a vision of my child, but just not like literally, like, you know, outside in my hand, in person. You know, just, you know, in my stomach.
Well, speaking of like the different clothing and things like that we talked about, I want to end with this on a high note. So what are some ways or one way that you pay homage to, you know, your child or your mother or anybody who lost a mother? What's one way that you honor them, their child or mother? Put it in the chat so we can get some feedback.
So for me, my tattoo, that's how I honor my child, you know, because even though you may have not been real or to other people, or because people didn't acknowledge me as a mother, you know, because I didn't push my child out, this is how I honor my baby. You are real. It doesn't matter at what point or how big or how far along, you know, you were, you know, so I made sure that I put something, you know, that's also a part of me, that'll always be a part of me, which is my tattoo. And I specifically chose this saying because I felt like literally this is what it is. Like, it says, I carried you every second of your life and I will love you every second of mine. That's how I feel.
Because the love never goes anywhere.
Like ever. And I don't care if I carried my child just for 2 seconds. Like, that's still
it's still your baby.
Absolutely. How about you?
I also have a tattoo of Kevin's name, but I think I don't know. I really don't. I think that me just living and breathing and laughing and being who I I am genuinely. All my kids are loving people. They just love on you as hard as they can. And Kevin was that person. You know, Kevin was that person. He loved everybody.
Absolutely.
And I think I carry that on. Even though I started it, I carry it on because that's how I show, homage to him. And I still stay connected to his friends.
Yeah.
I still stay connected to those that, he helped. That's a way for me to keep that light shining about him, looking at his picture, just that whole thing. Murder makes you look at things so much different, because you can look at a picture or have something, it make you smile, and then the next minute you're angry.
Yeah.
Not at him, but at the fact that this happened.
Yeah.
So I try to pay homage to him just by, smiling and being happy and still pushing on.
Yeah.
Not stopping.
Yeah.
You know
Absolutely.
That's the only way I know how to pay homage to him.
And for me, I wore it today. Shout out to my friend who gave me this. I always tell people, like, if you look real closely, because there was a point where, like, my house was like a museum, like at least for 6 months. I never took down none of his stuff. It was up, and I tortured myself for 6 months. But anyway, so the last couple of outfits that he wore, I've never washed because I was that weirdo. I know, in the grief, I was grieving. Don't judge. I was smelling his clothes, and it's like he had to throw up and stuff. It was so gross. Now I'm thinking about it, like, why am I smelling his throw up? But I never washed that stuff. So this is one of his onesies, and like if you look real closely, you can really see the stains. And honestly, if I'm being transparent, I did wash it actually, but you can still see some of the stains on it. And I just felt like getting this as a gift, it made me feel like he's still with me. So this is one of the things, and one of the things that I'm also working up to do. I never told anybody this, so this is exclusive information. I always wanted to go either like in his birthday month or around his birthday to like some random cake shop or something and see if I can pay for someone's cake or a kid's cake that's like almost the same age or around the same age he would have been, and like send them a little letter. And that would be like because I ain't trying to get emotional, but I've never got to celebrate a birthday of his. So I feel like that's one way I could celebrate him through someone else, and by being a blessing also, because I also want to be a blessing. So I'm gonna work up to it one day. I'll let y'all know when.
You'll do it.
But that's one of the things that I want to do. So before
you remind me of something, because none of us knew that we was going to go through this, and I remember some years ago I was watching a talk show, and the lady was on there. Her son was killed. Her little boy was killed, and she said the way she remembered him was she would go in his room and she would pick up his clothes and smell it. Yeah. And she said she could smell that little boy. Yeah. That little boy smell, because he was older. You know, he was like their size. He was older, like 5, 6 years old. But she could smell his little clothes. Yeah. Like, and to other people that may seem weird. But to us, that's not a weird thing. You know, I still got Kevin's jacket. I still got one of his shirts. A lot of things were stolen from me, and that hurt. But just to have that memory of smelling it. I don't want to smell that smell, but smelling it. But that, people say, people might think it was weird, but it really not a weird thing. That's what mothers do. They grieve their children.
I probably would still be that weirdo. Like when I have more kids, I'm like, I'm never watching this because I just want to remember forever. They're going to be very cringy. But before we leave, we have 2 letters from mothers. We have one from a mother who lost their mother and how they navigate that. And I didn't really share my story, but I shared it here. It's the only one that is not anonymous because I might as well tell y'all because it's details in here that y'all know. So if you want to start with this one, you can.
It says, "Dear Mama, I'm reaching out, mother to mother, to share a piece of my heart with you. In August 2021, my world changed forever when I lost my mother. We used to speak every single day during my morning break. She didn't answer one morning. I assumed it was just a cell phone service issue in her new area. Tragically, when I went to check on her after work, I discovered she had passed away peacefully in her sleep the night before. Before I could even catch my breath from the devastating loss of my mom, grieving the goodbyes were never where I never got to say. I also lost my husband shortly after. Navigating this immense emotional wreckage while still trying to step up and be a mom to my own children was the most profound challenge of my life. Through the tears, I learned that grief is fiercely real and carries no time limit. When it strikes, you must allow yourself to feel the emotions, release it, and give it to the Lord. Cast all your care on the Lord, for he cares for you. 1 Peter 5:7. I am surviving this storm because of my relationship with the Lord and the beautiful village of my family, friends, and church members who gave me the room to cry and talk through my pain daily. Today I honor my mother legacy by practicing the fierce prayer, life trust, and God that she molded for me. I hear her voice in the lessons she taught, and I carry her love forward to my own children and grandchildren, letting her reflection shine through me as the virtuous and faithful woman she was. To the mother reading this who is carrying her own story, losing your mom while trying to raise your own children is an incredibly complex, heavy grief. It is completely normal to mourn your loss while feeling overwhelmed by the weight of mothering without your biggest support system. Please give yourself grace, drop all expectations of perfection, prioritize your own self-care, and accept help from your village. From one mother to another, my prayer is that we draw near to God and allow him to carry us on this journey together, knowing we are not alone. As it is written, I will never leave you or forsake you. Hebrews 13:5. I encourage you to share your story too, so we can help heal another mother with her loss in Jesus' name. Sincerely, the witnessing mother.
All right, and then I'll read this one real quickly. It says, Dear Mama, I don't know where I should begin with my story. It all started one morning when the worst thing could happen happened. I woke up and my child wasn't breathing. My worst nightmare has now become reality. I still remember that day like it was yesterday, rushing to the hospital, being treated like a criminal with police questioning me about my entire day that day, doctors telling me there's nothing that they can do, and me trying to wake up from this bad dream. I not only lost my son that day, but I lost myself completely. I had no desire to live. I even told my family that I wanted to die because the one thing that I lived for was suddenly gone. The story continues. I was clinging on to everything that I could that made me close to him, and ended up losing my relationship to his father, my home that I worked so hard to achieve and to create a life for this little family that I had. It slowly became just me, and I found myself at a crossroad. I could take myself out, or I can live. I chose to live, but not just living, I chose to live with God. By no means was my journey ever easy, but having God to lean on made it bearable until my healing came. Now, 7 years later, God has given me my smile back. He has given me a joy and a peace that I've never had before. And I remember riding in the car one day, and I couldn't help but smile because for the first time I felt the sun shine down on me and only me. That was the best feeling I could feel. God taught me that in this life you will lose things, places, and even people, but the gain that you will receive is unbelievable. It is unfortunate that my son didn't make it past 4 months old. However, God told me that he sent him to my life to save my life, and I will be forever grateful for that. My advice for a grieving mother: get into therapy, and attend a grief group if needed. Go to church. I'm going to say that 3 times. Go to church, and get you some Jesus, okay? Accept Jesus into your life. And I labeled it sincerely a mother who chose to live. Mm-hmm. And that, so what do you guys think about those 2 letters?
I definitely think it was amazing because literally, like, quickly, I just want to say that whole give it to Jesus, literally give it to Jesus. Yeah. Because of the simple fact that I can only thank him for 1, carrying me through it. Yeah. And for 2, when God spoke to me and told me what to do, I did it. Mm-hmm. I followed, his direction. And I remember my husband and I, we were trying, and I was laying there and I was crying, and God literally said to me, Brittany, stop crying, you're going to have your baby. And literally only maybe like 3 weeks later, I found out I was pregnant. And if you guys hear anybody whispering, mommy, that was my daughter. So that's my baby. She's literally a living testimony. Yeah. Like literally, she is just a human form of God's word. It's true. So literally give it to Jesus. Yes. Don't give up. Even if you have 5 miscarriages, it's possible for you to.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Even, you know, with the mom who lost her mom, I haven't lost my mom, but I lost my grandma. My grandma, she raised me. But that's not an easy task, because to watch her diminish and go down, it really did something to me, because this woman got up every morning. She was singing every morning. She was praising God every morning, you know. But how God works in full circle, you know, when she passed away, she wouldn't go until my daughter said, "Mama, go home."
Yeah.
And she died instantly, right there on the spot.
Yeah.
And to current day, who would have thought that I would end up here in this ministry with Apostle and them, and my grandparents and their parents were best of friends. God works in full circle.
Yes, He
you
do.
know, and even, you know, with, you know, your letter, when it happened to you, I had a hard time.
Yeah.
I had a hard time with that, because I didn't know. I don't know what people don't realize. Even with me losing a kid, sometimes I don't know what to say.
I don't either.
I
have
don't
no idea.
know what to say.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
But I felt how you felt. I felt, because a loss to me is a loss.
Yeah.
I don't care how you lose a child. A loss is a loss to me. You know what I'm saying? Now, some losses are tragic, and both of ours was in a tragic way.
Yeah.
You know, but a loss is a loss, and I felt it. And I have to agree with you 110%. Run as fast as you can to God.
Yes.
You don't you skip. Don't you
sidestep it.
Don't do nothing. Don't turn left and then turn back right. Go straight to God.
Yes.
If I didn't have a clear path to God, again, I would have been crazy. Or
absolutely, yeah.
It's nothing but God's grace and mercy that kept. There's a movie called Eve and Leah or something like that. I can't think of the name. But it shows, because she lost her son the same way I did.
Yeah.
And the whole time in this movie, I'm thinking she's talking to a person.
Yeah.
She had developed another person that made her kill other people.
Yeah.
See, people don't think that far into it.
Right.
Like I said,
church.
Yes.
That part.
Ministry.
Get yourself something.
Run the therapy.
Yes.
It took me a long time to get into therapy. I ain't gonna tell you because I kept dismissing them. Y'all ain't doing enough. Y'all ain't doing enough. Y'all ain't doing enough. I finally got one that I'm there with. But go to therapy, because therapy is the only way you're gonna get it out. But listen, sometimes I go to my therapist and don't say nothing.
Yes.
It's a point of me
and just sitting there. Yes. Yeah.
Not sitting in my home. Not sitting in church. Not sitting. You know what I'm saying?
Somewhere
sitting there with someone does not know me. They don't know my story. They don't know how I feel. They don't know how I worship. They don't know how I cry. They just know that I'm there because I need help.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. And I want to end with these three comments. So one person said, we learn how to cope with it. Grief has its seasons. Another one says, we pay homage to our parents by keeping fellowship, family dinners, taking care of each other, living in my parents' wisdom. And then our last two. I'm sorry, someone just snuck in there. I see you. It says, you may never get over it, but you will get through it. And then someone says, amen, God will never leave you nor forsake you. He will always be there. And before we close out, we was talking about grief, and I actually went to a grief group. And it wasn't bad. It actually made me feel like I wasn't alone in something. And she gave us this rock and read this poem about this rock and how grief is always the same size, but it's how we grow around it. But I also want to challenge people, because I kept this in my car. It's been in my car for about almost a year now. And I was thinking about this the other day when I was like thinking about the round table, and God just put it on my spirit. And when I say that means God was talking. He was eating a little bit. Oh no, not a lot of it. He was eating a lot of it. But he said, I want to challenge people, instead of us holding in grief and growing around it, why don't we just hand it over? What would that look like? How free will we be? Will we be able to walk in the joy, the love, the peace, the kindness, if we just put it down and trust him with it.
Exactly.
And I was like,
people don't give up.
Whoa.
They don't give things to people.
Yeah.
They don't give things to God the way we supposed to.
Yes.
And if you think about it, rock has a heaviness.
Yes.
It'll lighten.
Yeah.
It'll lighten something, so.
And it was to the point where this rock, it's been in my car, but it's been moved so many times. I had it so close to me in the door, and then eventually I put it in the thing. Now I use it. I have like a CarPlay, but sometimes my port gets a little crazy. So this is a placeholder now. I put that rock next to my thing, and it got purpose now. But he just brought it to my remembrance. I still had it.
Just like you move that rock around, that's what we do with our grief.
Yeah.
We move it around instead of throwing it back where it belongs.
Exactly, yeah.
Grief, we're not supposed to, we're supposed to remember the people that we lost.
Yeah.
We can't grieve forever.
Right.
There's a time to laugh and there's a time to cry. There's a time to mourn. There's a time to grieve.
Yeah.
Grieving, we have to give grief an exit. We have to let it, we have to give it the door.
Yeah.
I don't know how else the same way you came in is the same door you need to go out.
Right. Yes.
And that's the way it is. And I can say that sitting in grief right now.
Yes.
I can say that. That I eventually have to tell grief, you don't own me.
Yes.
I don't owe you anything.
Yeah.
You don't owe me nothing. And listen, your time is up and you have to go.
Amen. Yeah. And the last thing, I promise, this conversation is just so good, but we have all good things gotta come to an end.
Yes,
but that's why I always, that scripture, Ecclesiastes 3:3, that whole thing, I always say, because even when I was in my darkest times, the only thing I had on my mind was, it's going to be a time to dance.
Yes.
And no matter what I saw, even though I couldn't even see the light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak, but because I said, okay, I know it's going to have its time, but it's going to be time for me. It's going to time for me to rejoice one day. And now, like, I'm walking in it, and I can truly smile and do all these things. It's just such a blessing. So, like we said, go sit on the people's couch. Most importantly, come sitting here. And while we're on the subject, it's Pentecost Sunday. Listen, we've been praying, we've been reading, we've been fasting. So you might want to come in this house and sit down and let the Lord do what He got to do when you, like I always say.
You might come in with grief, but you ain't.
You not walking out with it. I can tell you that, especially on this Sunday. I feel it. I feel it already. So just come on out, like I always say. Right. Like I said, what's the worst? We gonna hug you and smile and say we love you, and God loves you too. Like, that's the worst that could happen.
Yeah.
The other words just make, you might be all over the floor. But God's gonna do what He gotta do, and that's the good thing. So we are located here at 199 North True Road, Hamilton, New Jersey, 08307. We start at 11 a.m. Just come on, feel that Holy Ghost fire, and we'll see you then. See ya!